Recall that in order to find the vertical asymptotes of a rational function, we determine what values of the variable will make the denominator equal to 0. These are the excluded values. In order to find the x-intercepts, also called zeros, of a rational function, we determine what values of the variable will make the numerator equal to 0. So let's take a look then at example 6. We are to find the zeros of each function. So for A, we have f of x is equal to x squared plus 3x minus 18 over x minus 3. Just like we did earlier in this section, we need to factor the numerator and the denominator if possible. Here we can only factor the numerator. So we need two numbers that multiply to 18 and add to 3. Since the 18 is being subtracted, we know that we have one positive factor and one minus factor. And since that 3 is positive, we will want a positive 6 and a minus 3. This is over x minus 3 still. When we were determining excluded values, we needed to determine the excluded values before we cancel anything. So here, an excluded value would be x equals a positive 3, because 3 being substituted in for this x here would make your denominator equal to 0. However, when we are simply finding the zeros of each function, we can cancel things out before we determine that. So here the x minus 3's will cancel. We will be left with f of x equals x plus 6. We want to know what value makes f of x 0. So we'll have 0 equals x plus 6. And when we solve 0 equals x plus 6 by subtracting 6 from both sides, we end up with x is equal to negative 6. So this is the 0 of the function, negative 6. So let's take a look at another example then. In example B, once again we can factor. So we are looking here, note that 7 is prime, so the only way to get multiply to 7 is x plus 7 and x plus 1. And this is all over x plus 1. We can cancel the x plus 1's here, and then we will have f of x equals x plus 7. Again, we want to know where this is equal to 0. So we will have 0 equals x plus 7, or that x equals negative 7 is a 0 of our function. So go ahead and work through the check your progress problems, and then I'll post the answers to those. Okay, so for your check your progress problems, you should get that for number 1, you have zeros at negative 5 and 3. For number 2, you have a 0 at negative 4.